Hey guys, hanging out in Adam Jensen's apartment again. Luckily he lets me chill out here whenever I want to talk to you guys about Cyberpunk stuff. And today I'm bringing you 10 Cyberpunk video games that you can play while you wait for Cyberpunk 2077 to release and fill the Cyberpunk shaped hole in your heart. There are going to be zero spoilers in this video. I'm just going to give you a little bit of information, kind of a vague outline. And with that being said, let's start with number 10, Perfect Dark. In Perfect Dark, it's a first-person shooter from the year 2000, originally released on the Nintendo 64. You star as Joanna Dark. You work for the Carrington Institute, and your first mission, you're tasked with rescuing a doctor from a competing corporation, and then things kick off from there. It is built on the GoldenEye engine. It's a refined version of that engine, and it plays exactly like GoldenEye, down to, so if you've never played an older first-person shooter, Perfect Dark does that thing where when you hit the look down the sights trigger, all it does is it pulls up a sight in the middle of the screen that moves independently from the camera itself. So it's not like a look down the sights of a modern game. And it has a weird snap where it tries to continuously go back to the center of the screen. So you really want to use the hip fire in this game. The hip fire is actually really good. It has an auto aim to it. But like I said, this was originally released on the Nintendo 64. If you want a cart, if you don't already have one, you're going to need an expansion pack for your Nintendo 64. So if you don't have an expansion pack and you want a cart, you need to buy both for your 64. The footage that you're seeing right now is the Xbox 360 version. I don't know if it's still on Xbox Live, but it's pretty good. Like, I had a lot of fun playing it. Number 9, Killzone Shadowfall, released in 2013 on the PlayStation 4. You star as Lucas Kellen, who is eventually recruited as a shadow marshal. You live in a town that has been split in half, kind of East-West Germany style, and you fight the Vectans. You do shadow marshal stuff. It's a really cool, it looks really good. The stages are, it's not an open world game, but the stages are very sandboxy. You're usually dropped in a wide open space, and you're given a bunch of objectives to complete, and you can usually complete them in whichever order you want. There's not every level is like that. There's actually there is one level that kind of reminds me of an episode of Cowboy Bebop, which is pretty cool. I won't get into it because I don't want to spoil it. The big thing of this game is you also have like a drone companion called your owl, and you can have it, like, you can point at an enemy and say, hey, take care of that guy, and it'll go attack it. So Killzone Shadowfall, really good looking game, really a lot of fun. Okay, so the next one, I'm actually going to recommend the entire series. The footage that you're going to be seeing is going to be Mankind Divided for the PlayStation 4, but I really recommend any Deus Ex game. If you have a somewhat modern desktop / laptop, you can probably play the older Deus Ex. Like all 4 games, there's Deus Ex, the original. There's Invisible War, which is not good and I don't recommend it. Human Revolution, and Mankind Divided. All 4 of those games are available on good old games right now, and they're all pretty cheap. What I have right now, what I'm showing on screen, is Mankind Divided. It's the PS4 version. The Human Revolution and Mankind Divided are very stripped down versions of Deus Ex. If you wanted to make a comparison, I would say it would be something like BioShock or BioShock Infinite compared to System Shock. Like, a lot of the more complicated systems are kind of pulled out and simplified. I played all the way through Deus Ex, Human Revolution, and Mankind Divided. I really enjoyed both of those games. I highly recommend Mankind Divided. And yeah, I suggest you play any 4 of those games. Up next, number 7 is Watch Dogs. The one I'm showing right now is Watch Dogs on PS4, released in 2014, developed by Ubisoft Montreal. You star as Aiden Pierce, the super elitist of all super elite hackers. He is a mercenary hacker for hire. He does some dirty work, and one of his family members pays the price for it. And from that point forward, you just murder and hack your way to revenge. You just murder, hack, and murder. It's an open world game. It's very Ubisoft. It's very find a place, you know, do the puzzle, and it unlocks a chunk of the map. That chunk of the map then has a bunch of icons that you need to go through and do the missions for. But I had a lot of fun with this game. If you don't like the more self-serious tone of Watch Dogs 1, I would recommend Watch Dogs 2. It's a much more lighthearted version of Watch Dogs. There's also Watch Dogs Legion. I have not played that personally, so I can't recommend it. But if you do some research on the review scores, and that may also be a good Cyberpunk option. Up next is number 6, Flashback, also known as Flashback: The Quest for Identity, from 1993. The version I'm showing you is the Super Nintendo version, but this game has been on every platform imaginable. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, CDI, 3DO, the Nintendo Switch, and if you want to play Flashback but not as good, you can play the remake on like 360, PS3. Flashback, you star as Conrad B. Hart. You wake up in the jungle. You don't have a memory. You find a little hollow cube, which is this like little VCR thingy. VCR. It's like a little holographic thing where you recorded a message and you pick it up and you watch it and you find out what you have to do, and you go on about your adventure. This is a very cinematic video game. It's actually a cinematic platformer, meaning it has a very deliberate control scheme where you like you set yourself to run, and then you have to hit the up button to jump at a very specific time. You have to get under a ledge and press up. Think something like Prince of Persia. It's somewhere around Prince of Persia, a little bit out of this world, but I highly recommend the Switch version. It's very good. If you like movie references, you'll really like this game. It has references to They Live. It has references to Blade Runner, Running Man. Really good game. Really highly recommended. Flashback. Okay, up next at number 5 is another series I could show you. I could recommend. It's Shadowrun. The one I'm showing right now is the Super Nintendo version. It's the one I preferred from the ones that were released in the 90s. This one was released in 93. I prefer it over the Sega Genesis version, but there are a lot of fans of the Sega Genesis version. So if you'd rather, if the way this looks doesn't appeal to you, then definitely check out the Sega Genesis version, see if you'd like that one. If you want a more modern iteration, there is the Shadowrun Returns that have come out recently. It is kind of, it looks similar to the SNES version that I'm showing, but it's actually very similar to XCOM with the way that the combat goes down. In Shadowrun 1993, you star as Jake Armitage. You wake up in a morgue, and you don't have a memory. It seems to be a running trend, and you have to figure out what happened to you, and it's really cool. Shadowrun is a little different than most Cyberpunk in that it's actually Cyberpunk fantasy. Like, there are dwarves and elves and magic in Shadowrun, so it is not strictly punch and deck. You're punch and deck with elves that can cast fireballs. So Shadowrun, I really highly recommend the SNES version. It's my favorite version. Go check it out. Alright guys, for this next video game, you're probably going to have to emulate it unless you got some pretty deep pockets. This is an exorbitantly priced video game nowadays. It's Snatcher for the Sega CD. Snatcher is really an adventure game where you go through and you basically choose all of the different dialogue options until you figure out what you're supposed to be investigating. It's really hard to get stuck that way, and it keeps you from having to do like a pixel hunt like normal adventure games, but it's more of an adventure, like interactive novel. It's not very action-packed, but you star as Gillian Seed. You are just starting as a junker, which is a Blade Runner. It's Blade Runner. This game is Blade Runner. You could say that it's Hideo Kojima paying homage to Blade Runner, but it's Blade Runner. Yeah, Snatcher. Go ahead and check it out. Up next from Platinum Games, 2010's Vanquish. This is the PS3 version. This was actually recently re-released on the PS4 with a Vanquish Bayonetta bundle, which I didn't actually know about until I started looking this game up. But in Vanquish, you star as Sam Gideon, which is a guy who is super grizzle voiced, and he smokes cigarettes to regain health, and he wears a rocket-powered DARPA set of robotic armor, and it is awesome. Like, you hit the rocket pack and you just go rocketing on your knees, like sliding around the stage, shooting robots. And there's a lot of robots to shoot because at the beginning of the game you get invaded by space Russians, and everybody hates space Russians, so you gotta shoot them and the robots. Vanquish, check it out. Alright guys, number 2, one of my favorite Xbox 360 games, period, Mirror's Edge. You start as Faith Connors, you're a runner, and you parkour all over rooftops. I don't really want to get into the story, but it's a good enough story to keep you moving forward. Really, the star of the show is the awesome parkour. It's all first person. It looks fantastic even today. Mirror's Edge, guys, check it out. All right, guys, and number 1 is Syndicate. This is the Xbox 360 version that you're seeing right now. This came out in 2012. You star as Eurocorp agent Miles Kilo, and you do dirt against all your competing corporations. This game has a really cool like active reload mechanic where you use different augmentations that you earn throughout as you progress through the game. There's like, for instance, in the first level, you have an augmentation where you can hack certain things that will move things in the environment and take away the cover of the enemy. All of the weapons that you get have their own like little holographic HUD on them. This is made by Starbreeze Studios, so everything looks really good. It's a really good looking game, and everything is weighty the way that Starbreeze always makes their first person shooters. I was capturing footage for this game so that I can make this video, and I didn't want to stop. I did not want to stop playing this game. It is excellent. The music is excellent. Syndicate. I really wish that it had done better and we get some more Syndicate because it's excellent. Syndicate, guys, number 1. Go check it out. And that'll do it, guys. This has been 10 video games, 10 Cyberpunk video games that you need to go play while you wait for Cyberpunk 2077 to come out. If you like this video, do me a favor and like this video. It really helps the algorithm, so please hit like. Down below, you'll find, if you want to support my channel, you'll find Amazon affiliate links. Click on those links, and you'll help me out by showing me that you like the video. If you like this video, make sure you check out my 10 Cyberpunk movies to watch while you wait for the release of Cyberpunk 2077. And guys, I appreciate you so much for spending your time with me, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out.